Welcome to day 217 of the 300 Movie Challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of June 2012, which was Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted.
You two go first.
So as referenced, Valen was very, very hype.
As you heard in the last review. And it was justifiable.
I understand there were a lot of scenes where I was just like, who wrote this? And under what circumstance did they write this? I felt like I was watching, like, classic SpongeBob at some points, because it was so weird.
That's actually a good point. It is kind of like classic SpongeBob.
Yeah,
like,
rest
really,
in peace, creator.
Yeah. It's, like, really stupid, but then at the same time, it still somehow follows a storyline.
Yeah.
And it works, and it's very strange. Of which, the movie itself is actually really pretty, especially the circus scenes and stuff.
Yeah. The color design is super good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, when they were in the Alps, especially, like, that was really nice.
Yeah, the whole, like, rehearsal scenes and stuff.
Yeah, like, because, the Alps are a nice setting, and they did it well.
I'm just still mind blown.
It's hard to talk about, like, a comedy that you enjoy. It's easy to talk about a comedy that you hate, like what we did with Thou That Shall Not Be Named Ever Again. But when it's a comedy that you actually enjoy, it can be hard to, like, talk about the jokes, because comedy is still subjective, but I feel like it's harder to talk about the comedy that makes you actually laugh versus, like, the comedy that's super dumb and falls flat and you just don't understand it.
I feel like it's more so the fact that in this movie, it's just continuous jokes. It's like, you know how in Avengers we could point out jokes and everything?
Yeah.
The whole movie wasn't made up of jokes, but it's like here...
This movie is a big, long joke.
So you can't really point to one scene because you need to get the rest of the movie in order to appreciate that one scene, or you watch the memes, which this movie is definitely meme material, I think.
I think the two scenes that stick out to me the most are when King Julian falls in love with the bear.
Yep.
That, I was just like, I think I've seen, memes about that scene, but I didn't realize how crazy it actually was too,
because it's played up so over dramatically. That
he's talking about her hairy back and stuff, and I'm just like, okay,
let's smell together.
And then the other scene is when Dubois goes into the hospital and she sings that song that's used in Inception. And I was, the first time she was humming it, I was like, that's the Inception song. It's probably not.
They also, like, referenced Cruella de Vil with her, where they showed, because in the live-action 101 Dalmatians, I don't know if you guys remember, where they showed the computer game and stuff. And when they blew up Cruella de Vil's car and stuff, like, the license plate went flying and you saw the headlights and everything.
Yeah.
And then they referenced that with the license plate going down, and I was like, oh!
Oh, yeah, because she is kind of like, an homage to the original, like, crazy lady hunter.
Mm-hmm.
More of a poacher and stuff in terms of
but and also similar kind of like overacting like style, and actually just their names actually sound kind of similar. Like they have the same kind of cadence to it. But okay, I should give my background on this movie.
Yes.
I like the first movie. I think I saw it in theaters. If not, I know I have I got the DVD somewhere. And then I liked that. I also saw the second one. Didn't like it as much, but still liked it. But again, this is, a bit ago. So I didn't even know there was a third one until I was in college. Well, actually, when this movie came out, it would be like shortly before I started college. But I remember, I don't know, I think I was just looking around and I was like, oh, there's a third one. And I was like, the first movie was good, but the second one, still good, but not as good. So I'm like, this third one is probably not going to be very good. I mean, sequels generally get worse, right? So I was like, what the hell? I might as well just see it. Because I was like, if it's dumb and, whatever, I'll move on with my life. I fell in love with this movie. Especially if I'm watching a movie, like, by myself, I'm not, like, vocal about, like I don't, like, laugh out loud when I watch something by myself, right? I, like, again, pretty much for the two scenes you mentioned, I legitimately was, like, busting up laughing, like, oh my god, what the fuck? I was, like, I legitimately may not have ever laughed as hard as when I saw this movie the first time, in terms of watching a movie, especially, like, intentionally funny, right? And I was like, oh my god, this is, like, the greatest thing I've ever seen. And the thing is, this movie is stupid. Right? It is a stupid movie. So, like, that's one thing, because I've gotten into conversations with people about how they're, and when Dumb and Dumber comes up, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't stand that movie. And they're like, why? And I was like, I mentioned it, and then, like, kind of some reasons why, and then they're like, the main reason that anyone kind of says is to try to, like, argue against me is always like, oh, but it's a dumb comedy, you just have to accept it as a dumb comedy. I'm like, no. First of all, like, you're implying that just because it's a dumb comedy, that doesn't mean it can't be good or bad. But second of all, you're also implying that, like, I cannot like dumb comedies. This is a really fucking dumb comedy. And honestly, before this challenge, I would have said, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. Not even kidding. And actually, looking at this now, I do not know where to rank this, because of course I still really like it, but I'm like, how do I compare this to, like, I Am Legend, or, like, Curious Case of Benjamin Button? I'm like, how the fuck do you compare these movies? I don't know how.
So different.
I know, it's, like, complete opposite tone. I'm like, are those movies technically, like, more impressive and have, like, I guess, but, like, I don't know, like, because there are, and the thing is that I do have two issues with this movie. They are very minor, though. The first is, and actually you two mentioned it earlier, it was that they kind of, like, completely ignored the second movie.
Yeah.
Like, the parents are literally never mentioned, and, like, that whole thing, so that's a little weird. The other thing is, near the end of the movie, it does the whole liar revealed trope.
Yeah.
Now, it's handled okay. So for what it is, it's done. It's done decently well, because, like, they don't really focus on it that much, and they actually do use the trope to kind of make some jokes in the middle of that, and they do then turn around with it pretty quickly. So it's not like and it is actually used to get to a pretty good scene where they come back to the zoo and they realize what's been happening. So it's better than most, but it still is kind of like, okay, they're doing this.
It was better than Bug's Life, at least, which also featured a circus.
Oh
yeah. Well, I, like, totally forgot Bug's Life. But yeah, so those are two things that I would say are, like, but again, like, there's so much shit in this movie that's just hilarious. Like, even again, I've seen this movie now at bare minimum 5 times.
Oh wow.
My God.
If not more. And there's still some comments that I recognized here that, like, oh, I didn't realize that at first. Like, oh shit, what was one of them? I forgot one of them. Well, one of them was when they crash the plane after escaping Monaco, and all the chimps run away, and their excuse is that, well, France's labor laws are really, lenient, and they only have to work. They only work 2 weeks a year. Yeah, 2 weeks a year. So there's that, and then, but I'd already seen that before. There was definitely something else, like, that I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that. But anyway, there's so many, like, random small things. Private won't be able to become president because he ran out of money for college.
Oh yeah, that.
Like, I remember that. I remember the stupid shit. The whole I can't even see. I'm just so overwhelmed with like everything that happens. I can't even think. But and okay, Dubois.
Oh my god.
She was so over the top. I mean, we mentioned her before and everything, but
I think she's someone you have to witness.
Yes,
she is. There's no words to describe
literally,
her,
like because I've been kind of like not spoiling, but at least like hinting about this movie for a long time because I really wanted you to see it, and I kept saying like the villain's amazing. She's amazing, and I kept always saying you have to see to believe what this person does, and it's true. Like she fucking runs through walls, like she fucking just does the over the oil slick with the fish, and like. She's just fucking nuts. She's so insane, and it's so ridiculous.
And all the characters also like acknowledge that.
I know,
too.
they're like, "What is
Yeah.
wrong with this woman?" And it's just amazing. She is freaking insane, and she is
Like even the lemurs.
yeah,
Yeah.
Very like lackadaisical and everything.
yeah. And so, I like honestly, she is within my top 3 villains of all time. And in terms of like purely comedic villains, she's number 1. So, because she's just so fucking insane, and it's just amazing. It's just a complete embrace of the insane. It's like, remember in the other 2 movies, there's like the old lady who is like
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
nuts. It's like they took her and were just like, yeah, okay, any semblance of reasonableness, and then also like take that away, and then also like give her a very big important role. Because in the first movie she was barely in. The second one she was in it more, but not like that important. So yeah, this was just oh my god.
Yeah, what happened to the old lady?
Oh yeah, so that's what I mean by also ignoring the second movie.
I guess she also got the axe with Alex's parents.
Yeah.
I guess.
So, she's amazing. But here's the thing that really gets me. Even with everything I said, this movie somehow still has like legitimately good emotional moments too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when they get back to the zoo. and
Yes, that's a
everything.
really good moment.
The stuff with Gloria and Melvin still
Yeah.
gets me.
Yes, no, see, I told you, because for the first, it's like, it seemed kind of weird that they were, like, hooking up, right? For the second
Yeah.
movie. But I was like, no, they actually do have, that is weird, but they do kind of work pretty well in this movie, and they do! It's, so, yeah, there's that, there's, the whole, like, thing with Vitaly, when that's kind of revealed.
Yeah.
Like, that was good. Also, the whole convincing him to come back, that was good. And then, the whole, like, the circus, the London circus. Okay? It's, like, the first good one.
Yeah.
Like, again, like you said, the colors for that are really cool. It's just really creative, like, design-wise, what they do with that.
Yeah.
And that, they play fucking Fireworks by Katy Perry, and I usually hate that song. For some reason, and this has happened several times now when I watch this movie, the whole circus thing with that music and stuff, I get teary-eyed, and I don't know why. I'm like, why is this happening? It's like, I'm like so emotional about this, and it's just like, So,
You're watching your babies grow up.
I guess,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just so weird.
Actually, speaking of that too, the way that they ended their whole journey and everything actually felt pretty complete.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because it is kind of like a full story arc. Well, it's kind of similar to what actually happened in... Well, it's actually kind of similar to what happens in each of the movies, right?
Yeah.
Each
Yeah.
movie, it's... They start in a location, and they end up leaving the location into a new location, and at first they're kind of meh about it, but then they learn to, deal with it, and they like it, right?
Yeah.
That kind of happens in all 3 movies, but also in terms of, like, an overall plot for the whole franchise as well.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how that works, and again, it might seem kind of random that, like, okay, at the end they join the circus. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, especially if you think of it from the standpoint of, like, the first movie. But I don't. Again, this movie works, and it's nuts, and it doesn't make sense that much, but it just works so well, and I love this movie, and I still don't know how to rank it because Ugh.
Just put it at number 1.
I don't know. Like, can I do that though?
No one is gonna judge you.
No, I think after hearing this review, there is. I don't. You should do it, Valen.
I'll just think
Or
about
at least
it.
like top 10.
Oh, it's easily top 10. That's not a question.
Top 5.
3.
Top 3.
It's. Let me look. Well, my screen sharing is on, so I can't pull up my ranking list. But
Right.
it's. No, it's easily top 10. It's like 99% top 5, 90% top 3. I just not
Just
sure where
where
to
in
go
the
from
top
there.
3.
Yeah. Oh god. Or
You still have
wait.
time to think of it.
I know, but oh my god. Ugh.
I would say go for the top one because I've never seen you react for any movie like this.
I don't know. It's like, well, part of it is also I'm just thinking like, is the fact that I've seen it before, is that kind of like its own kind of bias compared to something I've seen for the first time? You know, I'm trying to weigh everything and trying to be quote unquote objective, even though again it's a subjective opinion on movies. But I don't know. I'm at least trying to be as balanced as I possibly can. I don't know. See, the thing is,
I always throw objectiveness out the window. I'm just like,
no, I guess.
this movie made me cry. I'm gonna put it up here.
Let
Yeah,
me put it this way: Lion King is in the top 3.
I'm not surprised. But the thing is, this is not the only movie that I have like a previous like extreme like
Oh, that
gut
is
love
true.
for. There's another one that's coming later.
Right.
Right.
I actually don't know if you know about it yet. I don't remember if
have, like a guess as to what it is, but
well, you can tell me after this.
Yeah.
So, and that's, even though I really love that movie, it's a very different movie. So again, like comparing this movie to that, even with their similar, I have no clue what I would say there. So, oh, this is gonna be hard. But, yeah, again, are there some things that you could say, quote unquote, don't really work? I guess I don't give a shit.
it's a SpongeBob episode.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
if you
I
want.
think that's the best frame of reference for us because you didn't watch SpongeBob, but
Mhm.
we grew up with SpongeBob like at to some extent, and it did remind me a lot of classic SpongeBob because it has like the really insane moments, but it also has like those small moments where it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a thing.
Yeah, just if you want a dumb comedy that is a really good dumb comedy that's completely absurd and just goes all the way with some things, watch it.
It doesn't try to explain itself.
No,
basically.
exactly. Like if you don't like just complete random stupid movies, don't watch it. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I've said my piece.
You're piecing out.
So next.
Yeah, what is next?
Oh.
More good movies.
Well, yeah. Next is a movie. Oh, okay. We've actually all seen the next movie, but
Oh, I think I
it
know what's
was.
next.
I think we all saw it like pretty much when it came out. So
Yeah.
I don't really
Well, I have an
remember it that
interesting
well.
story if it's the movie that I'm thinking it's in. I
Uh,
mean, that I think it is.
Yeah, and so I'm kind of curious to see it again. I remember that I thought it was decent, but not great. But I have heard since then that a decent amount of people really don't like it. So could it just be people overblowing things, or I don't know. I'm interested to see it again. So that said, I am kind of a little bit cautious about like going into it with like insanely high expectations, but
Yeah.
that's kind of how I see it. Actually, we were kind of commenting about this. More behind the scenes info. We actually saw this and Avengers like the same day. So we were joking like, is this like the first day where like that we've ever had, because we usually watch actually 2 movies a day, where both movies we see are like really good. And it might be the first time where both of them are really good, because there have been a few movies they're like, you know, one after another where they're both quite good. Like I'm thinking like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings kind of stuff. But
Yeah,
we never
a lot
watched
of
those on
people
the same day.
Yeah.
So
it's not viable because it's so freaking long.
yeah, so I'm thinking this might, I don't know. Oh
I
jeez.
think it is.
It's kind
I
of
think so.
sad that it took.
Usually we end up with either at least an okay movie with a good movie.
Yeah, there were some of those, but I don't think there was ever one where it was like two like really good movies, and it took 216 movies to get to that.
That's so tragic.
Yeah, well, at least we're here now.
Yes.
So, yay.
And we'll continue with
Yes.
the next movie,
Yes.
Yeah.
which will be a stark difference of tone.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, it's actually gonna kind of be a Debbie Downer.
Yeah, but, well, we'll get to that next time.
Yes.
So with
Yes.
that, I was gonna do the circus song, but I think my throat would give out, so I'm not gonna do it.
Da 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 circus da 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 afro.
Oh my god.
You did it! Congratulations!
Whoa!
Go join the circus.
Let's go join Circus Afro.
Oh my god.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.